Hi, I'm Jiyun Park.
And I'm Katie Kim, and we're going to be talking about the social determinants of health and historical trauma.
And we're going to be talking about these topics related to the books that we read. So mine was Medical Bondage.
And mine was Heavy.
So my book was Medical Bondage, and it's written by Deirdre Cooper Owens. And basically the basis of the book was just about the advancement of American gynecology in relation to like the advancements that occurred due to the issues of race and of sex in the 19th century.
So my book was Heavy by Kesey Lehman, and this is an autobiography of his life written to his mother. And he talks about how he struggled with lies, his weight, physical and sexual violence, trauma, and fear, and ultimately the white people who discriminated against him and his family and friends.
Social determinants of health are conditions in the environment in which people are born and live that affect a wide range of health issues, functioning, and quality of life.
We should create a social and physical environment that promotes good health for all. So basically, we should have good conditions of living, such as affordable and safe housing, access to education, public safety, availability to food, local emergency and health services, and also the availability of resources to meet daily needs.
The book Medical Bondage had a lot of aspects in which social determinants of health was mentioned. It took time, or the information that was mentioned took time in the 19th century, in which there were many stereotypes about race, such as saying Black women are able to handle more pain than white women, and things like that, that led to groundless theories being believed by scientists. And there was a lot of racial tension between Black people and white people, and I think that was a present factor of social determinants of health that was present within this entire book.
So you can see examples of social determinants of health in my book. So because he was growing up in like a segregated world, he wasn't constantly exposed to all the stuff that white people had. And so I want to share this quote with you. It says, "You and I have never been a family of cabinets filled with Band-Aids, alcohol, and peroxide. We have never been a family of tuck-ins and bedtime stories any more than we've been a family of consistent bill money, pantries full of refrigerators, washers, and dryers. We have always been a bent Black Southern family of laughter, outrageous lies, and books."
So historical traumas are traumas that occurred within like a racial group or a group of a certain type of people that continues to play out later on in the present day, sort of.
I think I can see that today because of police brutality and like random, let's say in specific, African American students are being shot for no reason and they're being attacked. Some even don't really have the same rights as we do, even though our nation has really developed a good sense of equality.
I think there's also like play out of that with like seeing like the amount of people that go to college that are in certain racial groups, and like just seeing, especially in healthcare too, there's a lot of like companies, or like not companies but groups of people that don't necessarily have healthcare and stuff like that, and there's facilities and clinics that are specified towards certain race groups, because I know my mom for a bit of time helped out with a Asian American health group, and I think that's very important to like focus on building and changing the historical traumas.
So talking about like racism and discrimination, as like a African American like child growing up, his mother always wanted him to sound educated and smart so that he wouldn't get beat by like white folk. And there was always a time when his grandmother always expressed that she didn't want to forget who she was and what she stood for. And he always asked if she wanted to like get revenge on the white folk she worked for. And she said no, she doesn't care. It's not about making them feel how white people made them feel. It's about not feeling what the white people want them to feel.
That's cool. In Medical Bondage, there was a lot of talk about like historical trauma, because the reason why the American gynecology advanced so quickly and so well was because of the discrimination between white and Black, and like just about women versus men. And it was just like they would do experiments on Black women because they believed they could handle more pain and things like that, and they would do these experiments on slaves, and so they did not have a say in whether they wanted to be a part of this, and they would have like C-sections and things like that were being tested on them. And so I thought that was really interesting to think about in terms of the historical trauma, because that really shaped like the way that Black people were treated back in those times.
Thank you for watching our video.
We learned a lot about our books and like how they relate to social determinants of health and historical trauma, and how that plays out in medicine today.
We think it was a really rewarding experience and a lot to take with us on our journey as future physicians.